Hello and welcome to this evening time taste challenge. I have two 40% alcohol Canadian blended whiskeys aged 3 years and bottled in the United States. This Potter's Crown, introduced in 1983. It is bottled in California by Frank-Lin Distilling Products Company. So it's produced somewhere in Canada. We don't know. We're never going to find out. Probably by some big distilling company, but bottled in California, and it's had the same owner since it was introduced 41 years ago. The Maestri family, Frank and Lindley Maestri, and their children have some of their children started a tequila distillery down in Mexico. And Maestri Distilling in Mexico is a big tequila producer. So there's the interesting label. It's got the crown for King Charles III, King of Canada, Wales, Northern Ireland, the Isle of Man, Gibraltar, Ascension Island, the British Indian Ocean Territory, Australia, New Zealand, Tokelau, the Pitcairn Islands, Belize, and other realms and territories around the world. All right, here is McAdams. Premium quality, well, you know that. Blended Canadian whiskey, aged 3 years, 36 months, like the other one, mellowed and aged oak. Okay, so they're telling you they're mellowing it in used oak barrels. Okay, no problem. Bottled and blended under the supervision of the Canadian government. Also a meaningless statement because all Canadian whiskey is bottled, distilled and blended and blah, blah, blah under the supervision of the Canadian government. Once again, they're telling you product of Canada. They'll say that like 10 times. They're showing two lions wearing crowns and holding up a maple leaf. This was introduced in 1987. So there's the neck label. Canadian premium, showing the crown for King Charles III, once again, King of Canada, Bermuda, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, Anguilla, Montserrat, the Cayman Islands, the Virgin Islands, Scotland, and other realms and territories around the world. All right. Okay. I think Prestige Beverage Group was the first company to own this, and they're still the same company. And I got this liter bottle. This is a liter now. That's why it's still around. $7.99 at Total Wine & More. And I know it wasn't that long ago because Total Wine & More didn't open up until 4 years ago in my area. So bought this within the last 4 years. Kind of smudged at the top. Ugh. Okay, not too bad, but I'm going to go rinse it off. I don't like it to look bad at all. It's pretty good, I gotta say. McAdams is pretty good. It says every drop of this fine whiskey is made in the old world tradition of quality first. We age our premium whiskeys in the finest oak barrels. This is truly one of Canada's smoothest whiskeys. Really? I wonder how they determine that. Okay. Prestige Beverage Group. I'll show you the websites now. After I bought this bottle, it disappeared from Total Wine around here, and I never saw it again. But they tend to roll through a lot of different products, and they'll have it on the shelf, and then you never see. All right, the Indian Ocean is huge. Herbie, hello, Louisiana Liquor Reviews. Thank you, says Tommy. Well, I think you blocked yourself with some of your comments, but we'll let it slide. You want to make comments if they're reasonable and appropriate, you can keep on commenting, Herbie, but got to use some kind of judgment, some discernment, self-control. That helps. All right, so here we go. I'll pour them first, and then we'll do the screen share. Your second account. Yeah, well, that's understandable. Good idea. Just cool it, control yourself, and you're welcome to join, Nothing personal. All right. That's enough. All right, so McAdams. Now, why did they call it McAdams? I don't know, probably because it sounded Canadian, like a name that you would hear in Canada, like a common family name. But it could be that the people that own this company in Minnesota know somebody named McAdams, or, had connections to somebody in Canada with that name. It could be something like that. So appearance, well, I poured a little bit too much in McAdams, but it's too late now. They're both about the same color, but the McAdams might be a little lighter, but it's so close. It's not going to make a difference. Not any appreciable difference. That's it. I'm not going any higher. All right, so now the Indian Ocean is huge. I agree. Never been to it, but I've seen maps and I believe them. All right, so let's go with the screen share. All right, so here's Frank-Lin distilled. There's the founders, Frank and Lee. They have passed on. They're no longer living, but their children run it. These family companies, they don't usually last, though, because you get the two people starting it, right? So now they got 5 kids. So now you got the five owners. By the time you get to the grandkids, 19 owners. Well, then trouble breaks out. So I don't know, unless they use primogeniture. The oldest son is always the owner. If they did that, well, that might solve the problem. Otherwise, look for trouble. Okay. Value brands. See, the Potter's Crown was their main, is in the middle of their value brands, probably their main product. But they make brandy, cognac, cordials, cream, liqueur, gin. Down there, Canadian whiskey, Potter's Crown, gin, Bellringer. I've never heard of this product. An old world recipe for modern cocktails, 94.4 proof. Woo, this will, I see why they call it Bellringer. Drink too much of that, you'd be like ding, ding, ding. Distilled from premium grain. Okay. It might be popular in Minnesota and Wisconsin, but I've never seen it. Just honestly. Okay, Adams. 3-year-old blended Canadian. Smooth whiskey notes and mixes well with cola. Now they're showing a big glass liter. Aged 3 years in ex-bourbon barrels. You know what? I'm going to put that in the notes. That's right, ex-bourbon barrels. Where's the bourbon from? Well, of course, we're never going to find out. So a light Canadian whiskey, only 27% alcohol. Technically not an actual whiskey. But, nobody cares about those kind of rules. But, I mean, technically it's not a whiskey, but everybody's going to call it a whiskey because they're just going to call it a light whiskey. Okay. Some people might buy that. I've seen these around, light whiskeys. I've seen them around, but I don't know how to take them, I don't know how to understand, I can't understand them. but I guess there's a market for that. Here's their newest product, Windsor Reserve blended Canadian whiskey. Now they bought Windsor Canadian whiskey from the distillers. I don't know why Alberta distillers felt they should sell a very popular product. Now you can see they've got the Reserve, the Black Cherry, the Apple, and Canadian. I really loved it. I gotta admit that. I was sorry my bottle was gone. That was one of the best Canadian whiskeys I ever had. Higher rye notes than any of the leading competitors. Well, I don't know what it was about it, but it was something good. I mean, it was always so good. Then they got recipe. I wonder what this this blended this Reserve is though. Or if I see that Reserve. Oh, okay. 83.3 proof. Now they typed it in wrong. It's 46.6% alcohol. So somebody screwed up there. You know, the thing is not 23.3% alcohol. That's a screw up. Y'all got to fix this. Perfectly balanced with peppery rye and locally sourced prairie grains. This Reserve grade whiskey is specifically blended at a higher proof, resulting in extraordinary smooth and bold finish. The result is an approachably smooth spirit for whiskey connoisseurs. Okay, give it age statement. That's kind of weird. I wonder if I blow up this cup of age statement on that. Yeah, it's too small. Well, I'll probably never see it. Well, I might see it. Who knows? You never know with these things. But come on, y'all got to do a better job. You putting your premier whiskey on the website, and then you got it 46.6 proof. Should say 46.6% alcohol. Right, it's all one big body of water, but they, for convenience, they give them different names. Okay. So that was very interesting looking at those websites. And would these two products be more of the economy type brands? I think so. Considering I paid $14.99 for this and $7.99 for that. But hey, I mean, if they taste good, I don't care if they're 99 cents. If they taste good, then that's what counts to me. Now you might not agree, but now it's time for the showdown, the taste challenge. I've got 11 right and 1 wrong. So I think I've done well. Obviously, I've done well. Got 11 correct, and I got it wrong once. It's hard to get it 100% right, I got to tell you. But it's happened. I have done it where I got them all right, but it's few and far between. Come on, camera. Cooperate. Well, oh yeah, let me put that aged in ex-bourbon barrels info on there. Although most Canadian whiskeys are aged in ex-bourbon barrels, but you can't say it definitively unless you know it. And in this case, I know it. Now, whose barrels? Oh, well, that's another story. We don't know. Most likely one of the bourbons that Prestige Beverage Group handles. This camera gets me irritated. Yeah, oak, vanilla, fermented grain, then distilled grain. You know, like corn, rye. What about malted barley, like single malt barley, as they call it in Scotland? It's some of that. I don't know about wheat. Now, some of these will add wheat, but it depends on the brand. Now, they're both age only 3 years, which is the minimum. So they're these are not extended age products. Now, could there be a Potter's Crown that's extra age? There might be. They're not listed on the website, but a lot of these brands, you'll say, well, that's the only thing they make. Then you go to the liquor store and it's like, what is this Potter's Crown Reserve, age 12 years? So you can get fooled by that. You can get well fooled by that. But I'm going to assume that's the only one they've got. And I'm going to assume that's the only one they've got. But if I saw a special reserve version in a store, I wouldn't really be shocked. I'd be a little thrown off, but I wouldn't be shocked because I've seen it happen repeatedly like that. Not from these two companies, but from others. I saw that Seagram's Black yesterday. No, Saturday, last week. But the price they wanted at Albertsons was outrageous. I said, well, looks like I'll never be buying it here. If I got to buy it here, I'll never buy it. I don't know what they're thinking on that. This is not Crown Royal Black. It's Seagram's Black. Seagram's VO Black. That's right, Seagram's VO Black. And they had the Seagram's VO Apple. They were both the same price, which was extraordinarily high. But I got no shortage of Canadian whiskey at the moment, so that won't be a rush to buy it. Yeah, well, these are close. Now I'm going to admit that. It's like sweet corn, rye spice, oak barrel, a little bit vanilla. Age 3 years. So both same proof, 80 proof, 40% alcohol. So can this, and they don't taste flavored. Now, I know Canadian whiskey can have flavoring at it and they don't have to put it on the bottle. But if I had to guess, and I don't have to, but if I had to guess, I would say that these both of these are probably not containing any flavoring, like natural. Perceive that. I think they're probably just the real all grain, no, sneaking around the corner, adding flavoring like you're allowed to do with some of these whiskey types. But that's just, it doesn't taste like they're flavored. Okay. Which one tastes better? Availability, tie. Can't get this one here. Never seen it in my town. Can't get this one here. Never seen it in my town. I know my town's not big, 28,000 people, but I don't really see these commonly even into New Orleans. You go into the city of New Orleans, you might see both of these at one store. I know where to find this one, assuming they have any left, which they probably do. See, but if you're looking at something like Canadian Club or Crown Royal or what's another common Canadian whiskey, like say Rich and Rare or Canadian Limited, I mean, that's going to be like everywhere. Every store is going to sell those. But these two, so price, they're good. The price is great. The availability around here now is questionable. If you live in Minnesota, Iowa, Wisconsin, South Dakota, North Dakota, they might be everywhere on every shelf, every liquor store. But I can't testify to those places. California, I'm sure Potter's Crown is everywhere. When I went to Hawaii, did they have some unusual liquor brands that I'm not familiar with? They certainly did. I was tempted to buy them. I did not buy any liquor on the Hawaiian visit, although I was highly tempted to because I had a lot of time, and they were interesting. And the price was not bad. You hear about Hawaii, these nightmare prices, but I didn't find the prices were too bad. Not really. I mean, at a restaurant, yeah, of course, because it's tourists. It's a tourist place, and they're gonna charge high prices. But when you get outside of the tourist areas, nah, the prices were fine. Relatively fine, not as cheap as the 48 contiguous states, but not as bad as people had claimed that they were. And I wanted to go out into the neighborhoods. I was like, I'm at Waikiki. It's fine. I know about tourist places. I know how to deal with that. But I wanted to go back into the neighborhoods to see how the regular people live, not all the people that's not from Hawaii who don't live there. So, and that was very interesting. And I went to a regular old grocery store, Safeway. I think it's same people that own Albertsons, and same exact store. Same exact products, except for some regional variations. And went to the University of Hawaii, which was, I love going there. All right, but yeah, the liquor offerings were generally the same, but with some significant variations, which I was just captivated by those. Same thing when I went to Gibraltar and Spain and Spanish Africa. The first thing I want to do go see all the liquor in the stores, and I was like, yep, same old thing, Jim Beam, Old Crow, Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker Red. Same thing for beer. They all sold Budweiser. You say, oh, that's across the world. They all had it. Heineken, of course, but then they had all these, like, I never heard of this Scotch, and the price was so low. But I said, I want to remember Gibraltar. I want to remember the trip, not go tasting all these liquors. I can't remember the trip. So I didn't buy any liquor on the trip to Gibraltar, but I was tempted. I guess I did make a mistake because some of these, it was like they were giving it away. It was so low. But nonetheless, I didn't do it. So I didn't buy any liquor in Alaska or Hawaii or England or Gibraltar or Spain or Spanish Africa. I just didn't do it. Now, really, I don't really buy liquor anywhere except around here because I'm not really. Now, beer, of course, I'll buy beer on road trips all over the country. Buying it like I'm crazy. When I went to Gibraltar, I bought that big liter glass bottle of brown glass, thank you, of San Miguel. That was a jewel, and I was buying all kind of beer. Spain, England, Spanish Africa. I was on a beer binge, a buying binge, I guess you could say. It was a lot of fun. This is very creamy. It's creamy. It's like not cream, but like sugar cream. I don't know how to describe it. Like they put in the Cadbury eggs. I think people call it fondant. I don't think it's the same thing though, because it's real granulated, but they say it's fondant. All right. But it's like that. These whiskeys are sweet. Woo. But then again, most bourbons I find are sugary sweet. All right, let's go over here. Now, if I went to Puerto Rico, would I be just buying beer everywhere and beer shopping and whiskey shopping and all? I guess I would be. I guess I'd go to that Bacardi distillery, take a tour, and try all the Bacardi, which I'm sure would taste just like Bacardi here, but it would be a lot of fun. I didn't see any breweries in Spanish Africa. I saw a lot of beer, but there was a big factory right off the ferry where the ship left you off at the dock. But it was a plant that made diesel fuel. A refinery made diesel. huge. But I'm pretty sure they didn't give tours there. Although I do it, I would take a tour of that. All right. Well, I have to say that both of these are extremely close. So which one would I buy? Well, I'll tell you right now, I'd buy whatever one was cheaper. Crown Royal, oh, Potter's Crown, McAdams, Potter's Crown, McAdams. I'd buy whatever one's cheaper. I'm buying it. Okay, so let's see, how does that translate? $14.99 divided by 1750 times 1,000, 856. Okay, so in my case, I would buy. I don't know, Microsoft sending me that. I would buy the McAdams in my case because it's a little cheaper per ounce at my buying experience, and that could change for you. Now, which one do I think it is? Well, honestly, I think this is the McAdams because I don't recall that bite. It doesn't have that little kind of that little bitiness that Potter's Crown has. That some people would appreciate, other people would find offensive, but I'm kind of torn on it. But I do kind of like it. But I find the Potter's Crown's a little bitey, and this one's a little creamier. Like I said, the sugar cream. So I'm gonna say McAdams, and I prefer it by just a little tiny bit. Oh, that was close. I was terrified, but I got it right. So, do they taste the same? Well, basically. But are there some minor differences between the two? Yes. Enough to tell them apart if you catch a good break like I did tonight. So that puts me at 12 wins, 1 loss. Got it right 12 times, got it wrong once. So now, tomorrow, why are they sending me I'm very satisfied with the calculator. I said, it's fine. Nothing needed. You don't need to improve your calculator. All right. Well, tomorrow is not going to be much of a contest. 40 Creek, Niagara whiskey, as they call it now. They called it a different thing when I bought it, 40 Creek. They changed it. As soon as I bought the bottle, they updated the label. That's probably why I bought it so cheap. But now it's called Niagara whiskey. But I cannot imagine that 40 Creek could ever lose to Potter's Crown. And guess what? They're not going to lose to Potter's Crown. 40 Creek that's from Campari, Canada. Campari, big Italian company, Campari, Canada. 40 Creek's going to win easily. So if you're going to skip, you say, I don't want to watch, that's going to be a blowout. I'm going to skip it. Well, if you skip it, I wouldn't take offense because it ain't going to be a contest. Probably be a short video too. Be in there, talk about the differences, and it's going to get whipped. What about Crown Royal? Ain't no way Crown Royal is going to lose to Potter's Crown. That's not going to happen. What about Crown Royal Bourbon Mash? Blender's Mash, no longer produced. It'll never lose. Impossible. That's not possible. What about Crown Royal Special Reserve, introduced in 1991, or also known as just Reserve? Special Reserve or Reserve? It'll never lose. That cannot happen. And what about Crown Royal XO, the cognac, the one finished in cognac barrels? That's not a possible. That's not a possibility. It cannot lose. So that should put me at, let's see, 12-1 now, 13-1, 14-1, 15-1, 16-1. I should finish this up at 16 wins and 1 loss, unless I overlooked the Canadian whiskey, and I don't believe I have. I don't have any more Crown Royal Black. It's gone. No way it would have lost to Potter's Crown. Now, just because Potter's Crown keeps getting beat, 12 losses, 1 win, I guess you could call it, because I got it wrong. That doesn't mean it's a bad product. I don't want people to take this the wrong way. It has lost, and it probably will never win anymore. But that doesn't mean it's bad. It's just in its own little place there, but it can't handle the other ones. But if you buy it, you probably would enjoy it, and I would recommend buying it, and I have been enjoying it. You can see I've been sipping it down, so I'm actually very glad I bought it. All right, we all take care. Now it's on to the World Series and Monday night National Socialist Football League football and all of that. All right, bye bye.